Cowabunga, dudes! Today we're taking a look at one of the best beat-em-up video games ever made, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4: Turtles in Time for the Super Nintendo. Released in 1992, it was a home console port of the original 1991 arcade game, which did not include the number 4 in its title. It was the second arcade game, but the fourth home console game, so they figured that they would keep aligned with the counting scheme. It is almost unfair how Super Nintendo owners got this game. It's that good, and we're going to go into why that is. In the middle of April O'Neil's report near the Statue of Liberty, the evil interdimensional warlord Krang decides to hijack the entire statue, with the Shredder goading the Ninja Turtles into trying to come and get it back. You pick your favorite turtle, then head topside. Unlike the arcade version, in the Super Nintendo edition, every turtle had different stats and new special abilities they could use at the cost of some health. Fearless leader Leonardo had the most balanced stats of the four and a spinning special attack that hit all sides. Party dude Michaelangelo boasted the highest normal attack stat but the lowest rush attack. His defense was also the best, but his speed was reduced with a slightly lower attack range than Leo. Tech Boy Donatello had the same attack and rush attack stats as Leonardo, but his range was the best and special attack caused the most damage. His defense suffered a bit though, as well as his speed being the slowest of all the turtles. The cool but crude Raphael had the lowest attack, range, and defense, but that all was made up by his rush attack, special attack, and speed being by far the highest of all the boys. I was a Raphael main. Who was yours? The game's main goal is to plow through hordes of the Shredder's forces in multiple levels to end up defeating the Shredder and getting the Statue of Liberty back. The turtles all had a plethora of attacks and techniques to aid them, all of which could be accessed through button timing. You had 4 different jump attacks, 3 different rush attacks, a special attack, and your normal attack, plus 2 attack variants. One variant allowed you to grab a foot soldier and slam them around, hitting any enemy that gets close during this animation. The other variant allows you to toss a foot soldier towards the screen. This technique actually comes into play with a newly added boss fight too. Speaking of added features, the Super Nintendo version also changed up some levels and boss fights. The 4th level is a run through the Technodrome that wasn't in the arcade game. The aforementioned new boss fight had you tossing foot soldiers at the Shredder in a mech. The sewer stage and future highway stages were turned into bonus stages, and the final boss was an upgraded Super Shredder. But even with all those changes, did it control well? Oh yes. Oh hell yes it did. The controls on this game are very tight and super responsive. The fact that they attached 11 different attack types to 3 buttons means control precision is a must. The game's options also allow you to change button configuration as well as allow you to manually start a rush attack as opposed to the default auto setting. The game's difficulty can also be adjusted. Normal mode is not too bad really, you just need to train yourself to react to everything, and also recognize when a crowd of enemies will overtake you. Easy mode reduces the enemy numbers and gets rid of the more difficult types. However, your number of allowed continues is reduced from 4 to 3. Hard mode ups enemy count as well as boss health and attack patterns. This increase in difficulty will also allow you an extra continue from 4 to 5. During my recent playthrough, I was bemoaning the hitboxes a little, but let's be real, I was just rusty. Really, hitboxes in this game can actually be very forgiving enough to not punish you, but also make you still have to consider positioning properly. There's just something so tubular about bashing on enemies while tactically moving a turtle around the field with tight controls and multiple attacks at my disposal. The gameplay of Turtles in Time gets a 10 out of 10. I had to do a double take when I saw the release date of this game because the graphics of this 1992 game is just so spectacular. Despite being underpowered compared to its older arcade brother, it was well ahead of its time in graphic fidelity on the Super Nintendo. Backgrounds are clear, crisp, and detailed. They fill the screen with so much detail and don't cop out with big blotches of plain color. The Mode 7 segments move smoothly and don't look out of place either. Even though the Turtles' animations were reduced compared to the arcade, there's just so much charm and character to each of them still. Yes, they share a lot of palette-swapped animation frames, but there are a lot of unique frames per turtle as well. And on top of all of that, we can also add in the fact that the game options allow you to swap the color palettes of the turtles from TV colors to comic colors, if you so wish. The same can be said about the foot soldiers. Many of them are palette-swapped versions of one another, but they operate totally different from each other, as well as boast different weapons, which adds to the illusion of variety. The only thing better visually than the turtles and the foot soldiers are the bosses. They've had meticulous detail added to them for their own encounters. And somehow, despite generally being the same height as the turtles, they all have such detail added to them, making them look badass. Look, I really truly could go on, but all you need to know right now is that the graphics of Turtles in Time gets a radical 10 out of 10. You fire up the game, and of course you get that classic Konami intro, but right after that, it's yet another hit of epicness with the Ninja Turtles theme song. Every 90s kid would be resonating with excitement at an intro like that. Even the character select theme is a rendition of the title theme that I could listen to on and on despite it being no longer than a 5-second loop. Amazingly, only 2 stage tracks actually use the Ninja Turtles theme in some way. The rest of the songs are all full originals that still evoke that Heroes in a Half Shell vibe. Konami did some spectacular work on the soundtrack, some of which has lived rent-free in my head over the years. It helps too that with time travel aspect of the game, it was easy to set the tone in the latter stages. Every single sound effect in this game just works. The hit sounds when you're laying into the enemies just adds to the fun, and even sounds that are from damage that you take are so appealing in their application. Hearing the sound for picking up a pizza box is so soothing because it associates with getting full health back. They grabbed dialogue clips of the turtles from the arcade too, so it adds to the charm. I'm not terribly upset when I get hit with spikes, but hear, "My toe! My toe!" The music and sound of Turtles in Time gets a 10 out of 10. So I suppose you could tell by now that Turtles in Time was a pretty big deal to me growing up. Ninja Turtles was the hot franchise for me back in the day. The hours I spent just replaying this game over and over would make my Steam library bow in reverence. If I had a few hours of nothing to do, this was the solution. Just bashing away at foot soldiers over and over. This was actually one of the rare games that I naturally analyzed patterns and made instant counters. I swear I could have speedran this game. Prior to owning the cartridge though, my first playthrough was with a neighborhood friend where we rented the game. We only had a night or two to play, and the instruction manual was missing, so we were kind of really stumbling through the game at first. Even more frustrating was that we didn't know how to pause the game. We later found out that for some reason you could pause the game using select instead of start, which was really weird. Further weirdness though, the copy that I own of Turtles in Time is that exact same copy from the rental store. Don't worry, I didn't steal it. They were selling it as is and I immediately jumped on it. Considering it's one of my top games, it's funny that I didn't actually own the box and never read the manual. The nostalgia hit of Turtles in Time gets a 10 out of 10. When I set out to review this game, I knew the nostalgia would be a bit overwhelming, so I made sure to keep that in mind. Yet, despite that handicap, I still have to give this game a perfect score. Forget being a fan of the Ninja Turtles franchise, this is a perfect video game. The controls are tight, the visuals are ahead of their time, and the audio is so perfectly applied in every way. And it's just outright fun! You don't have to be a fan of the franchise to realize that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 Turtles in Time is required gaming, and it's a shell of a time.